magazine has a great article by mycologist Dennis Benjamin. I recommend everyone read it. It's quite humorous, but it's sort of a little bit of a warning. I personally feel like it's a good place to start, like using these apps are like a good place to start when you're out in the field. But it's not an absolute, like you can't take anything as like 100% until you do further research. Usually you're needing to like look online, do a lot of comparison photos. So every time I go out, I tend to have a lot of homework when I come home. So, a lot of times out in the field, especially when we're with beginners, like people want to know, right away, like, what is this? And it's something that like, as we're all learning, especially, you know, uh, you know, we've been out with people and found things that we haven't seen before. There's nothing been documented before, so it's something that since there's so little, we've only identified about 10% of fungi. Like we're not always going to know what it is. So some of the fallbacks of using mushroom identification apps, like you may have limited internet, like when you're out in the field. There's a very limited amount of photos in the libraries to do comparisons. So usually, you have to have look at 3 or 4 or 5 different websites before you come to maybe even like a closer identification. So mushrooms have to be very closely examined for their subtle differences and require multiple views. And that's a reason why getting a lot of photographs too, if you're not going to be taking specimens out with you, you want to definitely take a lot of different photos. Or if, there's a lot of different periods of the growth of the mushroom and its different stages of morphology, try to collect those and take photographs of all of them. Maybe not take all the specimens out, but yeah, so use a regional field guide, and we recommend the mushrooms of the Gulf State. Definitely join a mycological society. That's a good way to sharpen your ID skills. Take classes on basic mushroom identification and taxonomy. So as I mentioned, we have a class coming up next Thursday on Intro to Mushroom ID. So Dennis also recommended using the Mushroom Observer map. So you have to create an account. There's a lot more rigorous. There's a lot more mycologists, a lot more people on there. There's like a tougher kind of validation built into that system as well.